Hey there! Welcome back to the Mothcast, a podcast about video games and how a couple of moths feel about them. The game for episode 23 is called Close to the Sun, a 3D alternate history horror game about Nikola Tesla and what he might have gotten up to if he were still alive. Grab your completely fictional death ray and let's get into the podcast. All right, the game this week is called Close to the Sun.
Yes. Close to the Sun.
Close to the Sun is how did we describe it last week? A first-person horror,
First-person
alternate history
horror.
with centered around Nikola Tesla's inventions is how we put it.
Yes.
After playing it, it's that plus a little bit of time travel, like
theory,
screwy
I guess.
stuff.
Time travel theory. What was the actual theory that they used? The single electron
The
theory?
single electron theory, which
I didn't even know was a thing until I played this.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I guess we'll talk about it once we get to like story, but it's I don't know, it's definitely something.
It's definitely like one of the weirder time travel I guess media I've consumed.
Yeah. I wasn't really expecting this to be a time travel I guess you could say time travel media, time travel piece of art.
I wasn't either, but like knowing Nikola Tesla, we probably should have figured it was gonna be a little bit like time travel-y. But
yeah.
I never really looked into Nikola Tesla.
Like I think the closest, I don't know if I really don't know if I don't know if Tesla was really that one into time travel. I know that Einstein did time travel theoretical stuff, but obviously none of that has panned out. But
I don't know either.
Anyway, it was it's definitely something that is like paying a lot of homage to the great Nikola Tesla and all of his inventions and his ideas and the great like the whoever made this game had a high opinion of Tesla for sure.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
And yet at the same time, maybe not. I don't know. We'll talk about that once we get to story. I have a small opinion, but we'll talk about it. Anyway, so the game was made on, I believe it was the Unreal Engine
4, I think.
Yeah, so it is your, I don't want to say like stock standard 3-dimensional with high graphics game, but it basically is.
It would basically, I guess, be the like typical like Unreal Engine graphics that you would get.
Yeah, I mean, so it came out in 20. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. There's quite a bit of gore and body horror in the game for sure.
A bit of that, yep.
But and those are as realistic as the 3D style that it's in is in. You're not seeing like ultra detail, but it's also not like
they're definitely
pixels.
Not hiding anything.
Yeah, they're not hiding anything.
A lot of dead people.
A lot of dead people in this game. Yep, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, you're gonna get that with like most shooters or
Yeah, I was gonna say this is made in, or I guess published in 2019. So
yeah,
for 2019, and that was what 5 years ago now. Yeesh. Pretty good, pretty all right. Like if I saw this in 2019, I'd be like, wow, this looks really good.
Yeah, and it still does.
Yeah, it still keeps up. It doesn't really like show its age too much.
No, it doesn't.
Obviously there's Unreal 5 now, but like Unreal 4 back then was it.
Yeah.
That was the engine to be on if you were making a big game. Regardless, it's definitely got some occasionally stunning graphics. I know that our video of this particular game is not going to reflect well on what we're saying, unfortunately, because the way we recorded this is by one of us was playing, it was Tim, and they were streaming the game through Discord,
Yeah.
and I was
'Cause-
screen capturing my side of it.
Yeah. So you were recording Discord, which was streaming this.
Right.
So
So like the beginning half of it, we had several technical difficulties.
it was it
Um,
was
Lots of
not
lag.
great.
It's probably going to be an atrocious watch, but just don't watch it. Just listen.
No, we did our best.
Yeah, it's not our best visual work, but honestly, you're here for our beautiful voices and our opinions. So whatever, it's fine. Yeah. So in terms of visuals, this game is definitely has everything it wants you to see, like in spades. It has like creepy pops of like sparks every now and then. It'll funnel you to small spots, and you like look at a place and you're like, oh, I know what's gonna happen here. Like, crap.
Of jump scares. Plenty.
And
Which is
so
why we had to record the way we did, because
otherwise I will crap myself and it will not be fun.
And I quote, "I'm 40 minutes away from the video game and I'm shitting myself."
Yes, correct.
He did say this. If you want to like,
yeah, I think
I'm probably be in the recording if you want to like.
I was gonna say I think I'm gonna upload the recording separately. I'm going to upload like basically the mostly raw stuff. I'm probably gonna edit out all of our, judicious technical difficulties in trying to edit things. But after that, it'll while we're actually playing the game, it'll be raw footage, and reactions and whatnot. So hopefully people will like that. Anyway, so another thing that they definitely do pretty well, I would say, is like the sound design in terms of
like perfectly placed like sound. Yes.
Yeah, like so there are multiple layers to this particular thing where whenever you're going somewhere and they want you to feel a particular emotion, they're going to play a particular type of music. Like if something is sad and you're like, "Oh no, something is sad." Oh god, it's going to play like really solemn music.
Yeah.
Like if there's something like creepy going on, it wants to give you like a creepy kind of like weird vibe, they're going to play like creepy like freaky music.
In the like chase sequences, you get the like fast-paced heartbeat.
Yeah. And like whenever the enemies get close to you, whenever you're in a chase sequence, it's like da 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 da, like really loud screeching, like oh my god, we're like you're in terror, we promise, and so I would say that the sound design in this game is good. The other layer I would say is like even just some of the ambient noises, like the blue fog had just like a really weird ambient sound,
like weird, like whispering, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of like glugging. I don't know.
Like as you would imagine the blue fog that makes time creatures would sound.
Yeah, right, exactly. Which we'll explain, we promise. The other thing is because this is Nikola Tesla, you imagine that there's going to be a lot of like electricity noises, and like there definitely were a very large number of these.
Abundance of them, yep.
Yeah, and they were all like very realistic, very interesting. No notes when it comes to sound and graphics. Like this game presented visually and audibly.
This falls under sound and music. The voice acting was actually really good too.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
There was voice acting, and it was pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, like the main character Rose that you're playing is she probably speaks the most out of everybody, and like the voice actress they got for her is really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that this really necessarily qualifies as like a AAA game, but maybe a AA game. I'd have to really look up, because I've never heard of I think it's called
The developer is Storm in a Teacup.
Yeah, Storm in a Teacup. I've never heard of them.
I've never heard of them either, but I would assume they're
Oh, it's
like
funny.
a
Storm in a Teacup is apparently a 1937's film.
oh
When
nice.
you Google it.
Um,
But yeah, I've never
I don't know.
heard of them.
I would assume that they are like an indie developer, I guess.
It looks like they've made 5 games.
Okay,
Um,
not bad. That's
so
indie
they're
enough.
like kind of indie. They've been making games. Oh, it says Storm in a Teacup was created by an industry veteran, Carlo Ivo Alimo Bianchi, in 2013. So maybe they're a indie developer that's been created by somebody who used to work at, like, I don't know.
At like a bigger company.
Yeah, like Blizzard or something like that. I guess a lot of times you'll find people who used to work at those big companies will just, like, whenever they don't get what they want at those big companies, they just, like, go make their own.
Yeah, they just make
So
their own indie company.
yeah, they have like quite a few other games. Yes, Enki, Lantern, Nero. Close to the Sun is their 4th game, and then they have another game called Steel Seed, which is, I don't know if that's out yet. Yeah, it's coming out this year, and it looks like it's like a future punk sort of situation. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Anyway, I'm just looking at their website. But yeah, like, they look like they have a lot of resources at their disposal for being able to voice their game and get all of the graphics that they want that are all like top notch, good sound design and all that stuff. Like, they know what they're doing when they're making games. So, like, even if this is an indie developer,
Indie
like,
developer, it's still from a person who used to work at a
yeah,
higher company, a
like, they
bigger
know their
company.
shit. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they clearly did their research too on the Tesla. So
Well, yeah, and obviously, like I said, this comes from a place from love toward Tesla and his legacy.
yeah.
So,
Mhm.
you don't write like a alternate history involving Tesla unless you, like, really respect his work.
Yeah.
Um, so gameplay, as much as there is, I guess there is.
There
I don't.
is it's I mean, as you would as much as you would think like a first person horror game would be is you walk around, you press buttons and you
Mm.
run away whenever there's a chase sequence.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like there were some
Level
puzzles, there was some exploration. A lot of it is just walking simulator into
is
exploration, which in and of itself is
into
absolutely not a bad thing. I love those type of
exploration,
games.
into progression, go to
Yeah.
the right place, find the right thing.
I would say that the quote unquote gameplay really does peak whenever it is um like during chase sequences.
Yeah.
Uh
Those are the times where you need to um some of the chase sequences there's like set different ways to go, and if you choose the wrong one,
you
well,
die. Yeah.
die.
Um
If you choose the right one, sometimes there's like a vault you have to do at the right time. Almost like a quick time event, but
yeah,
like
but not
better than a quick
quite.
time event.
Yeah, I would
Like
agree with that. Yeah.
literally, like nothing's worse than a quick time event.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because, like, you're actually in control of your character the whole time. You sort of
Yeah,
like press a
and it's
button
like
to do the vault, but, like, you
if you
still.
screw it up, it's your own fault, not the like quick time event being dumb.
Yeah. Um
It's like, ah, crap, man. Oh well.
Other than that,
It's a
I don't
screw up.
think, like, the puzzles really weren't much. There was a
Oh,
few, like, find the clues and then enter them into a safe, and then
yeah.
you open the safe. Like,
I don't know.
congratulations.
The best puzzle that was there was the like element one we did in
Yeah,
the
that's
room
the one I'm
in,
thinking of.
in Yeah, that one was, like, probably the best puzzle.
Yeah, that one
Like,
was
because,
like
like
the clues were hidden on the
or
various dice shapes.
yeah, we had, like, seen these and we're like, "Hmm,
That's
okay,
interesting.
I'm gonna write this down just in case." 'Cause, like, as because before you wouldn't know what they're used for until you get the, like, exposition that gives you, like, "Oh, go find this.
Yeah.
It's connected to these," and then you're like, "Alright, cool."
And then you finally find the safe and all the like symbols are on there and you're like, "Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I have this written down. Hang on, find the fourth one."
Yeah, exactly, and it's like, "Wait a minute. This seems I kinda wanna write this down and stuff." It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
We were
those
suspicious.
ones were okay. I'm thinking of the one of the one of the last puzzles that we did.
Oh,
Uh you
the
had to
light
open a
puzzle?
door and it was one of those light puzzles where like you turn one on and it like turns on
Like,
the one above
it
it and
turns
then the
one
one to the right or the one across the room, then you hit another
yeah, yeah.
switch and it like turns some on and some off and like we went into the room
I
and turned them
literally
all
went into the
on.
room, I clicked all the buttons, and it's like then the exposition was like or actually there wasn't any exposition, it was just like
No.
nothing happened when I flipped all the switches, and it's just like, "Okay."
I think you
Then I
went back
went
in and turned one of them off, and then it
I
was like,
one
"You
of
did
them
it."
off, and then another one off or on, and then it was like, "Okay, they're all green." It's like,
It's like,
"Alright,
"Oh,
yeah,
you
I
opened the
meant
door.
to do that, yep."
Please don't follow me." And it's like, "Uh,
I
yep,
don't know if you wanna get the clip of that and play it while we're talking about it, that'd be
maybe."
same with
I think it's
the
one of those
elements.
things where you're gonna have to go watch the video.
Yeah, you have
It's
to watch the
it'll
video.
there'll be long VODs, but I promise it'll be fun.
Yeah, if you're
Um,
gonna watch the raw footage that we you know,
yeah, it's
it's good stuff.
definitely worth it. Um,
It's gonna be it's like a first of its kind too. We
yeah,
haven't really done this,
well,
the, like,
because you know we were
separate
talking
videos
about it.
for
We were talking about it. I'm like, how are we going to do horror games? Because like it's been proven I can't play horror
not
games.
doing
I just can't do it. I'm
um,
too much of a chicken shit to do it, and
yeah,
I'll own that. You know, I'll
I know.
and I was like, you know, maybe I will.
I'm not I don't have anything, you know, against it
Yeah,
either.
I mean,
If you wanna it's okay, I'll
maybe
play it
I'll
with you
play it
if you need
with
me
my
to.
wife, but like that's really hard because her schedule and my schedule don't really line up. And usually when she comes home, she wants to just relax. And
Mhm.
you know, she only has the attention span for video games for so long, whereas I'm like, I'll play forever. Um, and
Um,
so
but
I'm
yeah,
like, you know
it's
what? It'll be fine. We'll just maybe on days where you're off, you and I will just play it together this way, and you know we can have the like horror game special where we upload the vods of our reaction because people like to see that anyway.
yeah,
Like
yeah, people
people,
like that. But I meant for, like, all the other podcast videos that we've done, you don't really record voice while you're playing.
I did
So
at the beginning.
yeah,
I
and then
didn't, and then I was like, you know, I'm not even gonna use. I don't really use this audio anyway. So what's
never,
the
like,
point?
upload the raw
Yeah.
with the
Well,
because
and
the usually you just use the visual for underneath the recording of the podcast that we do.
right.
So
Um.
it's like you don't have any use for like, voice that you would record while playing. So,
Right.
but this is different. You're gonna upload the raw with us talking,
Yeah. It's just gonna
as
be
a
the whole
separate
thing.
video,
The
the
whole
whole thing,
raw. You're gonna get it
because,
all.
um, as we said, we don't haven't recorded these games together, so it's like,
Yeah.
you know
Normally the idea behind the podcast was you play and I play.
yeah,
We play separately and then we come together and talk about it. And that's when
yeah,
we
talk about our
like
experiences and stuff,
yeah,
but, like,
our
if this is
opinions.
the
But
same experience, then it makes sense to upload the, separate video of our reactions.
right.
Um,
Okay, so
I think this is the first time we're doing that.
yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Um so this is
Right,
like
back to the yeah, back to
these
the
type of games are pretty light on the you know gameplay, graphics, sound. Like these all serve one other thing, which is the story. And I think we talked about this in the Saturnalia video,
mhm,
the Saturnalia podcast, where like these other things don't matter if the story is bad.
Yeah.
And so the story needs to be good in order to really tie in. Like this game was gorgeous, you know. This game
Yep.
definitely hit you um whenever it need to. It had a good like jump scare bits, and like a lot of them were really predictable, but like I wouldn't say that this was like predictable bad. I would say that this is like
No, it's
predictable
predictable. It's
pretty
like
okay.
some of them you know is gonna happen, but like you almost can't. You mean you have to hit them anyway?
Well, yeah, and but the thing
And
is they earn the scare, I would say.
yeah, for sure.
Well, like,
And then there was
I
one.
think the one I can think of off the top of my head, and then you can go, is the one area where you're supposed to go in the room, but there's like a hallway next to it leading to a closed grate, or like it's like bars. And like
Mhm.
the first time we totally missed it, right? And so then we went through it again and like walked up to the bars and we got a jump scare. And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, interesting.
You're talking about back in the like
Like way
living
back at the
quarters,
beginning.
I think. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that it just like it like earned that um
And then there was a few where like I accidentally like just you know missed the jump scare and wasn't scared by it at all.
the one where there was a hole in the wall and you were like, I wonder if we look in this there will be a jump scare, and you like
And there
looked into
was,
it
but I
and you looked
but
away immediately and you're like, I guess not. And then there was like spooky music and the guy was like, I'm gonna kill you. And like, oh,
yeah,
uh,
and it's like, oh, okay, oops. I think that was supposed to be a jump scare, but like I just
I wasn't
looked away too
looking.
quickly. And
Whoopsie.
then the one with the guy in the elevator
Oh
that
yeah.
I walked backwards into the elevator.
And then
It was supposed
the
to like
game is like, oh my gosh, isn't that horrific? And you're like, what?
it was what horrific, and I turn around and like, oh, okay,
You're
yeah,
like,
there's a guy there. I mean, not that I haven't seen all
yeah,
these dead people already.
yeah. Uh,
I mean, the best jump scare was, unfortunately for our protagonist, was the one at the beginning where she like had to shove her way into a door and then like basically fell face first into
oh,
a massive amount of dead people
the
that were
one
like,
where, well, that was like, I think that was the first time where there was like any amount of like actual gore in the
yeah,
game. So
true. Because I guess there wasn't anything leading up to it, or there was. I mean, you come into the chapter and she's like, "Oh, what's that smell?" And then you're like,
yeah,
you get to the room full of dead people, and you're like, "Oh shit, that's the smell."
yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because I think you one of us was like, well, I mean, corpses smell. And then we like
I
went
think
into
I
the
was.
room and it was like, oh, well, I guess one of
It
us
might
was
have been
right.
me. I don't know. But yeah, like then she hits like a panic attack. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the jump scares were earned.
I think they, cuz it's really awkward too cuz like as much as I didn't really want to do this, I try to look up how long a game is, and so we
Yeah,
know how much we like are in for. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
and in doing so, I learned that a lot of people's opinions on this game are it's just too many jump scares and it tries too hard. But like
Hmm.
I didn't get that. You know?
I mean, there were a lot of jump scares, but like it was also an ambient horror too.
Yeah, but like everyone's like they try so hard with like things falling over and like like lights
I
going
mean,
out and coming back
there
on. I'm
were.
like, but that's the atmosphere.
I mean, yeah, those specifically. You're on a ship that's like in quarantine and falling apart. Of course, there's going to be lights sparking and exploding, and
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
just the
didn't really
atmosphere.
necessarily
It's
agree
gonna
with
happen.
those people.
I don't
Um
agree with them either. They're not like that's just jump scare is gonna jump scare.
well, I mean, yeah, jump scare is going to jump scare, but I'm saying like a lot of
Trying
the
trying too hard.
ambiance we were definitely feeling it. We definitely were like picking up on what they were trying to put down.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a fairly good job
They did
in earning their payoffs,
Mm-hmm.
even if every single one of them was like seen from a mile away from, both of us.
I mean, there were a few that weren't. Like, I'm
Well,
pretty sure there was one or maybe one or two that got me too.
oh
So
yeah, for sure.
you'll see that in the full video.
Yeah, go watch that. All right,
Sure.
so story. Let's try and unpack this kind of
Try and
convoluted story. Um all right. So I guess
first
I
things first.
will briefly go over how it sets up. So you start as somebody in a boat. You're crashing around on the waves. You're a lady who receives a package from her sister. Your name is Rose. Your sister's name is Ada. You receive a package from Ada, which is this like earpiece, and she's like, "Hey, I know I've been gone for a while, but I think you should finally come join us on the Helios. The Helios is this flying ship that has been invented by Tesla.
Boat.
I
Water,
believe it
on the
was.
water.
Oh, it was a
On the water.
boat? Really?
Yep. On the water.
I guess that makes sense. I don't know why I thought it was a flying ship.
Largest ship. Biggest big boy.
All right, so it's a
Like, if
ship.
you imagine a city, but as a boat.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't really matter. What it matters is that it's this basically huge, like, hub that Tesla has made and is supposed to create its own, is supposed to be self-sustaining for everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Basically, like, he
and
wanted to
he's
get away
gathered the
from all the
greatest
countries.
minds from around the world and, like, brought them here. That's the idea.
Yeah.
In order to see his ideas through. That's his idea.
Just for a place for scientists to go and be scientists.
Right, and I think the idea was it's going to be a boat on international waters. So if they do some ethically dubious things,
Nothing happens.
who's going to persecute you?
Yeah.
You know. And so your sister's like, "Hey, come see me," and you're like, "Sure." You find out later that your sister is like head scientist. She's like the biggest theoretical physicist other than
Smartest, like basically the second smartest person on the entire boat next to Tesla.
And then you eventually find out that it's like arguably she is the smartest.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so she's like top. You find out later that she's like Nikola Tesla's favorite, basically, because she's genius level, like beyond genius level. And so you get there and you're like, okay, but why is this place like completely run down? What's happening? You walk in the front door and the door's shut behind you, predictably, and you turn around and look, and it's got big letters written in red, quarantine. And you're like,
Yep.
oh. So that's like the setup to the game, It's a horror game, so you're trapped in this place with something spooky. And you don't really know what's happening. All you know is that right before you walk in, Tesla's like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here. Why are you here? Nobody should be here. Be gone." And you're like, "No, but my sister said I should come." And he's like, "Yeah, don't come in." And then you go in anyway.
Yeah. Well, you had no choice because you're already stuck. So.
And so, yeah, that's like the setup, and it progresses from there to like you get in touch with your sister, and she's like, "Hey, some things are happening. We kind of messed with time a little. We shouldn't have done that, but we did."
Like, extra dimensional stuff.
Yeah.
There's this thing going around. Not great. Turns out.
Go ahead.
They had messed with time a whole bunch, and what they had done basically was they had found a way to like gather energy / electricity from time itself, or either time itself or a different dimension.
Right. I think
I think
that
it was. I think it was both.
yeah,
So
I think the best way that you could use to describe this is like they poked a hole in the dimensional like reality, the
and
fabric
then
of
like
reality,
and
and
then
are
like
like harvesting
put an
the energy from it.
and then like put an outlet on it.
Yeah, and then put an
They
outlet
plugged
on
it
it. Yeah,
in.
exactly. Yeah. Because what they're doing, what you see later in the game is this stuff called exotic energy. That's like kind of
Solar
floating
energy.
around that is kind of making people crazy, and you're like,
The
ooh, better not
the
go near it.
the blue
Um,
fog that we mentioned
yeah, the
earlier.
blue fog that we mentioned, they call it exo because you got to be short and
Exo
snappy.
energy.
Woo. It's
Gotta do
exotic
science
energy. Who
stuff.
cares? It doesn't like listen, we're not Resident Evil
Whatever.
here.
It's blue shit.
It's blue fog that makes energy. But yeah, so the idea was they were trying to create the infinite energy machine.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, which I believe is actually something that Tesla talked about at some point is in his actual real life is creating a machine that is a perpetual energy machine where it
Yeah,
actually
perpetual motion.
well maybe either perpetual motion but like it's an infinite energy machine. It would basically solve all the world's problems.
Yeah.
And he never did it. Instead, he left us designs on how to create a death ray, which are also in this game, but don't worry about that.
Unused, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a game where you can acquire weapons. The best you can acquire
No.
is like a wheel
Oh,
to like turn things
and like elevator keys.
and like elevator keys. Yeah, those are things that you can pick up. Nothing else. Not
Nope.
even a prop sword to save
You don't
yourself.
even pick up a sword to like protect yourself or anything, like a chair or a piece of wood or nothing.
Yeah.
Like what kind of horror game is this? Why wouldn't you just think to do that? There's plenty of things to pick up.
Um.
Ever.
Let's see. Yeah. Uh, I don't. There's not a
Yeah.
whole lot of else you can talk about without going into spoilers, but I don't know if I really want to go into spoilers with this podcast. Um,
Yeah.
the thing that I wanted to talk about that I've been referring to is I have noticed a interesting trend where um they where writers
They
will
whoever.
create an insert to a character that's either real or exists already,
Mhm.
place them beside that already like either powerful, intelligent character or strong character or something, and instead of having them like learn from that character, will essentially like use this second character to supplant their reputation for their own. Um,
Okay.
whether that is to good effect or bad effect, I've noticed it. It's been a trend that has been ongoing for many years though. I think it usually is noticed starting around like I don't know, like 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
So I don't think this game necessarily counts, but it feels like it because Ada is portrayed as this like ultra intelligent person,
Yeah.
like possibly
Like for sure.
beyond Tesla levels of intelligent to where like she was the one who
Who actually cracked the single electron theory
right, she was the one who was like I have proven it that every single electron in the universe
is the same one
is not only the same one but is the same one in the present, the past and the future. And so
because
we
all time is happening at once.
yeah, and so if we can harness this single electron, we can then create the infinite
Infinite,
power
yeah,
machine.
infinite power.
And
We can
so
harvest infinite energy.
that's where the like time gets kind of wibbly
A
wobbly.
wonky, yeah.
um uh I don't it's like I don't think that this is a case of them trying to like discredit Tesla at all.
No,
But it feels weird to create a character
who
in
is
a
smarter than Tesla?
game or a story with an alternate world or sorry, alternate history world where like people already consider Tesla to be this like unreal genius to
Mhm.
where like you could just pin everything on him. You know what I mean? Like he could have
Yeah.
done all this stuff. There was no reason to have created Ada as like this genius. I know why they did, obviously, because they needed to have a character that was tied to your main character to get the main
Yeah.
character to have a reason to go to Helios, right? That makes sense. She could have been a regular person. She could have been she could have been just a physicist on the regular level, and then, you know, any of the wibbly wobbly stuff could have been completely assigned to Tesla, and then like she could have been like, we were helping Tesla do this, and then
And then it went wrong.
it went wrong. And like I guess it's not like strictly a bad thing from a storytelling perspective
No,
to
I
have her
don't
be
think
smart
it
like that.
is.
It really doesn't matter.
I mean, if it's an alternate history thing, then there is a possibility of there being somebody smarter than Tesla. I mean,
Oh,
he's a
for
smart
sure. I
guy,
mean,
but
he could have been way
he's not
dumber
the
than we
be all.
give him credit for.
He's not the be all end all.
Of course, no, and I'm just saying like it struck me as like a little strange when like you're why even have him there?
Yeah,
Like he doesn't
I
need to
mean,
be there.
Yeah.
He could have been like not even on his own boat.
Well, see, the thing is, I feel like Tesla had like more of a vision, I guess, but Ada was just the scientist behind the. Like, she didn't have very much of a vision of like, we got to make this Helios, this boat for all the scientists and etc.
Yeah.
Whereas Tesla, he had the like grand vision,
Yeah, I
and
suppose.
he was also a scientist. So it's like it kind of makes sense for him to be the main guy, you know.
Whereas she was
He was
definitely
just a
still
scientist that was smart, you know.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I guess so.
He was the scientist behind the theory, whereas
I
Tesla
just
had the grand vision.
I guess it like it all definitely lines up, and I'm not like trying to tear the story down or anything. I'm just it's like there
It's
are
just a thing you
opportunities
notice.
that you discarded in lieu of others, and I'm curious as to what spurred the writers to, you know, take the opportunities that they did as opposed to the ones that are maybe a little bit more obvious. And normally when you don't take the obvious opportunities, it's
Mhm.
so that you can subvert expectations. But
Yeah.
like I don't think they subverted anything here. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
Like
think so.
they didn't do anything super special with the Ada character.
No,
They
didn't.
didn't do
But
anything out of the ordinary with her. They just put her in the spot that one would assume Nikola Tesla would end up
would
in.
be it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Uh yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
any of the huge story beats in this were particularly groundbreaking either.
No, but you know,
With the character of Aubrey and how he turned out.
it was. Mm,
Yeah, we won't go into spoilers this episode, but
I'll just say
he was
we both kind of saw it like half a mile away.
yeah, we were both basically calling it the entire way, and um we said that there was a couple of options and what we each preferred, but it
Yeah.
ended up being how it was. So
Yeah.
and
Go watch
then
the full video.
the way with like Ludwig ended, it's like yeah, it's all very
That
predicted.
Ludwig
And
is still
well, I guess
problem, I guess.
it's not really a spoiler
I
to
don't
say that Ludwig was counted
don't
as one of the monsters.
I don't think he was ever explained.
Yeah, he wasn't really explained. Maybe there
Um,
was something somewhere, but like there wasn't.
I don't know. It wasn't. I don't think that was explained very well. I mean, what I would assume is what we mentioned,
Yeah, like timey stuff, but
like he wasn't explained very well.
yeah.
But that's okay. I guess he. What you need to know is, I think he was like a crazy psycho murderer, before he went to the Helios, and then like
Yeah.
he got better better. I don't know. And then but like got crazy because of quarantine. Exo energy, etc.
Right.
So he's
Yeah.
like a crazy psycho murderer that you had to run away from. We'll leave it there for now. If you, I guess, can figure it out from us playing on the from the full video, let us know. Leave a comment.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to know more. Honestly, there's a few things in this game that weren't really terribly explained, but there doesn't have to
I mean,
be everything explained. So
unless we're too dumb.
I mean that's also possible.
We're not like mega geniuses like this game is.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So,
All right. Well, okay. Settle down. I was gonna say leaving it at the end of that story section is that this game really does it tries to appear smart.
Yeah.
When it's not, like, it does a good job appearing smart and it sounds smart, but there are definitely moments where it's like, you're not as smart as you think you are.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, the game definitely does a good thing of like the protagonist is as smart as the player, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So
and like I said, I'm really
kinda
trying not to tear this down because
yeah, you can
there's
kinda
not much to
relate
tear down.
No, you can no, that's good because that way you can like the player can relate to the person you're playing as. You
Yeah.
know?
Um.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think that there aren't anything. There's nothing seriously wrong with the game. There's nothing
No,
seriously wrong
no.
with the story. It's just like it feels like really up on a pedestal. Like I'm smarter than you, player, and like just deal with it, sort of feeling.
Kinda.
With the way that it's like, oh, the one electron theory exists and it's real, and it's like,
And it's just
okay, but
like
if you know anything about that in real life, you know how kind of silly that sounds.
yeah.
But
Like if
it
you
is
think about it
alternate
just a little
history.
bit.
Yeah, but it is alternate history, so you've got to give it a little
Whatever.
bit of a room to
It's a
do
work
whatever,
of fiction.
yeah,
Don't worry
whatever it
about it.
wants. So yeah, but yeah, I
Alright,
mean, I I guess I would recommend this to people.
yeah, I mean, as a non-horror game player, then
Yeah,
yeah,
as a
it's pretty
non-horror
big.
game player, if somebody was like, "Hey, I just got done playing BioShock 2. I
Oh yeah,
like BioShock." And I would say,
that
"You
is
know
a good
what?
point. We should mention it is like I have likened it to BioShock, even though like BioShock is a shooter.
Yeah,
This is very much
the
like the
same vibe."
same kind of ambiance and vibe.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, if somebody's like, "Hey, I just got done playing BioShock. I like BioShock a lot." I would say, "Hey, there's this game called Close to the Sun. You should go play it because
Yeah,
it's pretty good." Um for a horror, it's quite good. I think it earns the I wouldn't play it again, but hey, you should go play it. For me
yeah.
personally, um what about you?
Me,
Probably
I'm on the boat where I probably wouldn't play it again because it's not really the kind of game that you need to play twice. But
yeah.
like, I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, no, like no secondary, no second ending, no like
No, it's not.
replayability.
Which is
Um
actually like kind of a refresher on the all the games we've been playing on this
yeah,
podcast.
that is true.
Like,
There's been a lot of
there's been a lot of like, oh, multiple ending. Go find this. Go do this for this other end, and it's just like, you
yeah.
know what? Or like choices where it's like, this choice will get you this end, and this choice will get you that end. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know what? I
Well, I
don't.
mean, it's like puzzle games with multiple endings, kind of annoying, but like whatever. Okay. Uh
C Cube 1 and 2.
yeah,
Or actually, just 2 actually.
just two. And then the last 2 weeks have been Guacamelee. So, and those have both have like true endings where you have to like
Yeah,
go get everything
that
before
is
you can
true,
do
but that's
it.
also Metroidvanias do have a
Yeah, but
lot
that's
those
like
a lot of the
I was
time.
gonna say that's tradition.
Yeah. But still, it was a good refresher on, it's just the end. You just go to the end.
Yeah,
Bada bing, bada boom.
basically.
Like, even BioShock had
Try not
multiple
to get
endings.
eaten.
I shouldn't say that, but, you haven't
Eh.
played it.
Well, I know there's multiple endings. It
But, yeah.
telegraphs that there's multiple endings.
That is true, it
I've
does.
played one enough to know that it's basically said in the game that there are multiple endings. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
But yeah, I would rate, 8.
8? Okay.
Out of
I was
10.
gonna say like
Well,
7.
maybe 7.
Yeah, I mean, if you
7.
want to give it an 8, I'll give it a 7. That'll be all right.
No,
It's
I'll go down to a 7 as well. It's pretty, like, fair,
all
I'd
right.
say.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So the next game that we're playing, what are we gonna say? Gone Home?
Is Gone Home, yep.
Yep. All right. So next game we're playing is called Gone Home. It is a sort of point and click, also 3D. Whenever you search walking simulator, it comes up. It's an exploration game about a girl. I suppose is the best way to put it from what I've seen.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what'll be next week. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.